My name is Zachary Wilson, and I was diagnosed when I was 9 years old.
My name is Nick Jones. I was diagnosed in 2008. I was 4 years old.
It was kind of beginning to middle of hockey season for me, and I thought that I wasn't going to be able to play hockey again, so it kind of sucked. There was a lot of things going through my head. I thought that I was going to have to change quite a few things to be able to live my life, and honestly, at 9 years old, I thought it was the end of the world, so probably took a couple weeks. And then once the doctors told me I could continue to skate, that probably upped my spirits a little bit. I think that was the biggest question going through my head was, what can I still play? And
yeah, so my answers would be a little bit different than Willie's, obviously being 4 years old. So I didn't have a whole lot of concerns. I was honestly at that point my biggest concern. I was in the hospital. We had just got back from vacation, and I had an IV in my arm, but the way I remember it is there being about 100 needles through my arm, which was pretty scary. But I do remember at the hospital I got a little toy car, so that's honestly there wasn't a whole lot of thoughts going through 4-year-old me. I didn't really know what was going on. But my parents probably a whole lot different. They were pretty worried, and they were doing a whole bunch of courses and stuff for it. But
I think my time in playing junior, it's definitely had its ups and downs. Moving away at 16, knowing and understanding diabetes, but having to fully deal with it on my own would have been probably a difficult time that first year. And then I've had a lot of support with trainers and staff throughout my years, so it's been nice that way. And I've had some things made up to help me out, and with technology now, it's definitely given me a big hand, made things a lot easier for me. My parents are huge supporters and are always on me about my numbers and stuff, but end of the day, I probably thank them and respect them, I guess, for that, because there's definitely times where I want to go and just play hockey and not have to worry about diabetes. So
I mean, it's tough. It still is to this day, obviously a challenge to deal with, but that's kind of what you get for having it. But no, it never really stopped me from doing anything. I mean, it was tough in my younger years. It still is now when I have to come out of practice. But I think guys are more understanding now than they were when I was, 5, 6, 7. And then especially once I got into more competitive hockey, like thinking back to in Adam, I went to the Brick tournament. Those guys were 10 years old. They don't understand why I'm not doing power skating or why I'm out for 10 minutes at practice. But so that was always tough because you want to be on the ice, and against what most guys would think, even if they're power skating or doing skating, you want to be out there. You'd rather do it as a team than be sitting on the sidelines. So when it was less understood, it was definitely tougher. And even now, it's not fun to sit out of practice, but you got to do what you got to do to keep yourself healthy. And at this point, guys kind of understand that, and they know you're not out there trying to mess with anything. So.
Community is extremely important, and we want the communities that we live and work in to benefit from Nakota's presence. So it's great that Nicole brought this opportunity to us that Zach and Nick are obviously very passionate about, and we're glad to play a role and help make it happen. Yeah, you know what? I'm born and raised from Grand Prairie, and I know when I played, I know we had a big role in the community, and so I think it's great, and I commend the guys for having the initiative and willing to get behind something like this, and something that will make a really great impact for the community, for and other people that are facing maybe some difficulties relating to diabetes, and create some awareness. And so yeah, I'm all for it, a way for these players that are got a prominent role and position within Grand Prairie, and people look up to them, and I think they're doing a great job of taking that position and doing something really positive with it.
I think a big misconception about diabetes is eating a lot of sugar. Like, you don't have to eat a lot of sugar in order to get diabetes. That's not how you get it. It's a genetics thing, and you know what, if like my family members have had it, so it's passed down to me, and you know what, I guarantee you I'll have family members down the line that have the same thing, and that's just how life is, just how genetics are. And you know, that's a big misconception, and people don't understand that, especially younger people don't understand that, you know, you don't have to eat a lot of candy, a lot of sugar to have diabetes. It just comes naturally, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a big one that I think is pretty common is, you know, kids had too much sugar when they were little, or, you know, you had too much sugar and that's why you're diabetic. It's not how it works. There's no tie-in for type 1 diabetes. There's other types that, you know, that can have an impact on, but type 1 is biological. Like, it's not something that I could control. I mean, that's probably the biggest one. The other one would be, you know, for me in school, it was not the easiest to explain to kids. You know, I'm wearing a little belt with juice boxes or candy, and you know, I'm having to go outside to take a needle during class, or you know, that kind of stuff, because school's hard, and you know, there's a lot of, you know, picking on and bullying, and you know, you see it for everything. Like, it's not just diabetics, obviously, but you know, kids are cruel about it, and you know, if you're different than the majority of people, it can be really difficult. So, you know, I would try to explain to people that, you know, just because you're different, or just because I've got something different, doesn't mean, you know, I'm not cool, or I can't hang out with you, or, you know, you have to pick on me, which I get it. Again, kids are mean, but that would be the biggest one that I'd want, even for a future kid. If my kid got it, it'd be, you know, try to nail it into their head that even if someone's mean to them for it, it's just because you're different and you're a kid, but you're not really that different. Like, it's not like you're that different. It might seem like it to kids, but you're living the same life, and the way that technology is now, you're really not that far off from what everyone else does. You just have a few extra steps to get there. So it's really awesome having the support from all the team and the guys and the staff. Goes a long way to, you know, making us feel comfortable. Having the sponsors too. We've got a couple major diabetes sponsors, and then Dakota Energy Services, who does a lot of sponsorships with our team, and they hopped on and helped support us through this as well. And you know, that's come a long way. And yeah, having the guys around, they all make us all feel comfortable, and that goes a long way, because there's things that go on, and you know, there's days where your sugar is going to be low, and not having a zillion questions or stuff, you know, not that we don't mind answering questions. When guys have questions, we definitely fill them in and explain what's going on, but you know, being judged for having to go off for practice and stuff, we don't have any of that going on, and so that makes you feel a lot better about things.
It means a lot that the Storms allowed us to have these jerseys and let me and Jonesy design them. I think you know, Diabetes Awareness Night is huge, and it's big for not only me and Nick, but the community as well. I know there's been a few kids who have come up and asked us questions, and you know, come to us for some things, and totally fine, both Nick and I, answering those questions at any time. You know, these jerseys are special to us, and being able to design them is definitely adds to it. So I think support on this is huge. I know when I was first diagnosed, I had a team that I was on, they put the diabetes ribbon sticker on their helmets, and seeing that support it's a weird feeling to describe, but it's a nice feeling. And then to be able to wear these jerseys with our team out here this Friday is going to be something else. And no, it's nice to have that support. And I know as at the age I'm at now, as a 19-year-old, I realize that that support's everything. And you know, for the young kids that have it, you know, it's okay to be able to voice that you got it, and you know, look for that support.
Yeah, so I just wanted to point out a couple things on the jersey. Zach and I designed them, so kind of incorporated some stuff that impacts us. So on the middle here, we've got an insulin pump. We both wear one. Very common for diabetes treatment these days. The technology's come a long way, so we wanted to incorporate that in somehow. Yeah, and then on the shoulders, we've got Diabetes Canada and JDRF. We just wanted to bring some representation to those brands. They do a lot for diabetes in Canada, so we just wanted to make sure we had those in there. Yeah, on the back, we've got Nakota Energy Services, big sponsor of our team, and they got into this and really wanted to help out, and it goes a long way for us, and we really appreciate that. And then on the logo, we've got the diabetes ribbon right in the middle there. It's a light blue, same as the colors we used for the jerseys. And then on the right arm, we've got a Dexcom sensor. It's again common for diabetics to use. It's a continuous glucose monitor, and we knew as soon as we were doing these jerseys, we wanted to get that in there. Basically, it tracks your blood sugar 24 hours a day. So it's something that's on our body all the time, and so we just wanted to kind of incorporate the things that we wear all the time into the jerseys, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I think I looked up to Max Domi as a kid a lot. He's someone who, everyone's familiar with in the hockey world, and he's got it. And I think at a young age, it was always him was the guy I looked up to. So.
Yeah, the person I look up to the most, kind of recently, I guess over the last 3, maybe 4 years, Michael Simpson. He played in the OHL for the London Knights, and the Peterborough Petes, I believe. And now he's in the AHL, I think with Belleville. He's in the Ottawa organization. Only talked to him once through Instagram, just kind of asked him a few questions, but I don't know, just seeing the success story he had. He won the Memorial Cup, I think twice, once for sure, and just seeing what he can do and he's a goalie, so that kind of goes a long way for me connecting to him. So that one was the most relatable and just someone I look up to and want to try to model my success after. Yeah, one thought I had coming into this interview that I think is super important is the support system. So more so for the people that aren't diabetic but are surrounded by a diabetic, or the people that are surrounding me. So my family, friends, teammates, people all around me that I'm around all the time. It's really important for them to kind of understand what's going on, just because it makes our life a little bit easier. So that means for a newly diabetic, like say myself at 4 years old, if you're the parent to that 4-year-old, I would still say let them be a kid. Everything's with discretion. So if their sugar's a little bit high, but they want a piece of cake at a birthday party, maybe at times it's okay to do that. A big misconception is, kids can't eat sugar, kids can't eat cake, diabetics can't eat whatever. That's just not the case. It's just extra steps again. We have to do insulin. We have to calculate the carbs in it. And if we calculate it correctly, it still might go a little bit high. It might not. It's a big guessing game, really. But for the most part, it is. You can eat anything you want. Again, with discretion. I'm not saying go eat a full cake. That's probably not going to be good for you. But yeah, being a kid and letting them enjoy those experiences is really important. And as they get older, like in my adult life, there's still times I get asked, can you eat this? Can you eat that? Yes, I can eat it. There's times where I won't. If my sugar's high and I say I'm not having it, then, it's not that I can't eat it. I'm just choosing not to. And being understanding to that is really important. Asking questions is good. Most of us don't mind answering questions. We'll explain to you why, to the best of our ability, why we're not eating it or why we will eat it, even though maybe I'm a little bit high. It's just, we know what we need to do. And obviously at 4 years old, it's a little bit different. You have a little bit more control and you develop the diabetic into what they want to be. And that goes into my next point of just not letting it be the enemy. And I've seen it in a lot of cases, and I was lucky enough my parents didn't have that mindset, but just staying positive about things and on a day-to-day basis, not sitting there, I fight for my life every day, I battle every day. That's just, to me, that's not the case. And if you see it that way, it's going to be really difficult to ever, not beat it, you're never going to beat diabetes, but it's going to be very difficult to live a positive life. So I tend to look at it in a positive way. There's a lot of people out there that have it a lot worse than me. And, there's people that would kill to be playing junior hockey. There's people that would kill to walk. Like I can still function on a day-to-day basis and do everything that everyone else around me does. So for me, I try to, stay positive. There's times where stuff happens and you're going to be upset about it. It's going to be tough to manage. There's going to be times that that's the case. But if you can stay positive 90% of the time, you're going to have a lot more good times and a lot easier to control than if you're sitting there talking about how you're fighting it and just being negative about it. So that's kind of the biggest things to me for the people around is if it's a younger diabetic, it's, you know, teaching them to be positive with it and to be smart with it. You have to be smart. You can't just take it as a positive and live like, say, every other kid and just go eat whatever you want. That's not gonna work. But being positive about it is, and you know, you can manage it. You can still go play hockey. You can still do all these things. You might need a 10-minute break, but you're gonna be able to do those things. So that would be the biggest one. I just think that impacted my life so big because my parents were that way from, again, a young age. They carried the weight for probably 4 or 5 years, if not more, after I was diagnosed, because I was 4 years old. It ended up being, I guess, maybe 9 or 10. I started taking a little bit more control, and then as I moved away for hockey, I really started picking up on managing it, and now I don't even know if my dad ever knows what my sugar's at, but until his alarm goes off at 3 a.m. But no, I think that's the biggest thing for me is just staying positive, and the more positive you are, I mean, it goes for everything in life, but the more positive a mindset you can have towards it, the better off you're gonna be. And if you can get your kid to have that mindset, it's gonna be a lot easier for them growing up than if they see every inconvenience or every low sugar, high sugar as, you know, a battle for their life. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to ever see it as just diabetes, not their whole life, because it's not your whole life. It is a part of my whole life, and it is something that I deal with at all times throughout my life, but it's not like I'm sitting here thinking about it 24 hours a day. It's something that, you know, when I'm on the ice, I'm not thinking about my sugar. If it goes low, it happens, but I still do all the things I want to do, and I just don't let it drag me down. And hopefully, if this message hits someone that, you know, they can change that mindset or have that mindset. You never wish it on anyone to have this, and I never would do that, but it's gonna happen. It's out there. So yeah, I think it's important to have that, and yeah, I think that goes a long way for me, and that's probably the most important thing for me is just the people around me, because I couldn't do it without them. So yeah, so positives, diabetes, obviously a weird thing to say. You don't often hear those things go hand in hand, but again, I like to be a pretty positive person in general, but especially about this kind of stuff. And for me, it's made a pretty big impact. From a young age, again, around 10 or 11, I started doing more on my own. My parents, just with moving around with hockey and stuff, you know, there was times where my parents wouldn't be there, so I had to figure out what I was doing. And by that point, I had a pretty good routine. It had been 6-7 years, but then as I started moving away to hockey, I had to really know it, 'cause then you're staying in hotels, you're staying in dorms for tournaments and stuff. You gotta really know your stuff. So I think it really helped me mature from a young age. I've always been pretty mature from those years, and I think a lot of it does relate to having to take care of myself, and how important it is, and how important my parents made it sound to me is what kind of got me to where I am now. And even now I'm really on it, and I just make sure that I do everything to take care of myself, but it also spreads to non-diabetes stuff. So that's even in school, like getting my schoolwork done on time, and just being in routine is pretty important to me. Eating at similar times, knowing how many carbs I'm counting, just doing everything right is kind of a big thing for me. It started with the diabetes, and now it just kind of is in everything I do. I want to be the best at it, and some will call it being competitive, which is probably the case. Yeah, so keeping on routines, it really helped me from a young age, having to know my stuff and be on it and take care of myself. And so that comes in other attributes now too. It's, you know, in the gym, on the ice, whatever it might be, just keeping those routines and making sure that I'm doing it to the best of my ability and not slacking off, because in the diabetes world, if you slack off, it can be pretty big consequences. So yeah, making sure I'm on my things, and yeah, it kind of matured me to now understand in all aspects of life that if I put my all to it, I'm gonna get better results. And so those things kind of go hand in hand. Yeah, so far this year it's been an amazing time out in Grande Prairie. We've had great fans and a lot of support. Obviously the team's doing pretty well, and that helps, but that all starts with the fans and having the energy in the building every night. And you know, you guys have brought that, so we just want to say thank you for all the support, and we're looking forward to this coming weekend. And you know, I'm looking forward to seeing all the blue out there, and yeah, seeing all the people out there. So thank you.